Welcome to the Dynasty Nerds Fantasy Football Podcast, where we discuss Dynasty strategy, rankings, and all things NFL. So get ready to geek out on fantasy football with your host, Rich Dotson.
And welcome to the Dynasty Nerds Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Rich Dotson. He's Matt O'Hara.
Hey.
He's Garret Price.
Who am I?
I don't know. I don't know anymore.
You might be Jerry Price.
I was
You're like gargling.
I was reading Joe Burrow's name on my notes because he's higher up. So he's sure on my notes.
He's definitely higher than Garrett.
Yeah, he definitely is.
list.
I would take Garrett behind Joe Burrow.
Every time.
So, we're doing we just got done with our overall top players at each position for dynasty value. And now as the season's here upon us, we're going to kind of go into our top 12s of the regular season, who we think for 2026 are the guys that are going to carry you to a championship.
Nice.
Quarterbacks first?
Yeah, we're doing quarterbacks first, and these are our top 12 for this season. This is not Dynasty, because I know
This is a dynasty show.
it is a Dynasty show, but we're like 2-3 weeks away from the season.
Okay.
We've got to we do it every year. This is something we do every single year. We give our top 12 for the season.
Got to find that trade value.
We've got to figure out, and look, and that's the exact thing, Rich. Part of this is this helps you whether or not you're a contender or a rebuilder going into the season. Understanding how these guys are valued for this year versus Dynasty is going to help you capitalize on whatever spot you're in. So if you're a rebuilding team and you're like, oh, well, Dak Prescott ranked in the top 12, but it doesn't help me as much, maybe I can get more value out of him and vice versa.
Nobody likes Dak Prescott in dynasty.
They should.
It doesn't make sense.
The guy, all he does is perform. He's in a great offense with a crappy defense.
Throw for 7,000 yards.
He's the perfect quarterback for fantasy. Come on.
People don't love him.
Nope.
So how do you want to go about doing this? You want to each give our top 12 first and kind of go into each player?
Let's go top 12s and see where we differ overall.
Okay. So in order, how I actually had to sit down and think about these for a while and kind of go through my head here of how I think it's all going to play out, and especially when you get to like quarterback. I think running back was definitely a lot easier. I'm sure receiver next week will be a little bit more difficult, but
Receiver's tough.
I have it in order, presuming this is always going to presume everybody's going to play a healthy season, which we know will not be the truth. So
Correct.
We'll see players that end up being top 6 performers at each position, and they just played all 17 games and they averaged X amount of points. So if a quarterback is averaging 17.5 points a game, but they play all the games, they're going to finish pretty high.
Yep.
That's not an elite quarterback. That's a solid quarterback, not an elite quarterback. If your quarterback's not scoring over 20 points per game, in my opinion, hey, it's a second tier quarterback.
I don't disagree with that.
1,
So-
2.
Guys that they're going to score over 20 points. I think I could go all the way down to all these guys good. Okay. Number 1, Josh Allen. 2, Jaden Daniels. 3, Lamar Jackson, followed by Joe Burrow. Drake May.
I'm sorry, who'd you have 3?
Lamar Jackson.
Okay, gotcha.
Followed by Joe Burrow. Then Drake May. Trevor Lawrence, because,
You love him.
guy's a stud. Justin Herbert. Dak Prescott. Jaxson Dart. Caleb Williams. Malik Willis.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts.
Malik Willis.
Yeah, I just think he's going to rush for about 40. I mean, the guy averaged 44.8 rushing yards per game, and I think there's no excuse to think he's not going to rush for that average in season.
I have Willis at 14, and if I could guarantee he starts all 17,
Yeah.
I think he's in my top 12. I just think at
Is that
some
the whole premise
point,
of the show?
huh?
Is that the whole premise of the show? Saying
The whole premise is where we think they're going to finish over the course of the year.
Exactly how I got. Like, I was really like, I had a hard time like keeping Bo Nix out of this. Like, I had a real hard time.
I got Bo Nix at 11.
Yeah. So like,
I'm at 13.
if I flip Malik Willis and Bo Nix, again, when we're talking here, these guys are gonna be so close. Like, I could easily do that, right? Like, but if we're talking, he plays all year long, and he can just say he averaged 44.8 rushing yards per game across his 6 starts, right? Say he gets that down to about 40 yards per game, which I don't think it goes down because of that offense and the way he'll be able to scramble. Like, and then be able to dump off passes to a guy like Devon Achane, Greg Dulcich over the middle, and his receivers. He'll still connect passes. Say he only throws for 2,200 yards, but he rushes for 700 yards. Like, that's enough to get him as a quarterback 1 if he's playing all 17. And I'm with you. Like, it could fall apart pretty quickly, but I went on the premise that all these guys, same thing, my running back 1 on the years, because I assume this guy's going to play all 17 games.
Sure.
Let me ask you this. Have the reports started turning more positively for Malik Willis? Because I feel like there was a point in camp where it was like, is he even going to be like? Is he better than Quinn Ewers at this? Like, I know Quinn like nicked himself, but I don't think that's like a high bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Quinn Ewers wasn't like a world beater last year, and there were some questions whether or not which guy was a better passer, basically early on.
And I think that's fair. Like, he might be a similar passer to Quinn Ewers, but what he gives you athletically on the ground is always going to give him such an edge that I think that's why. And look, if you told me that Malik Willis, I think he's the biggest boom bust player this season. If you told me he finished as quarterback 4 this season, I would say, I don't think it's likely, but I could see it. It's a possibility. You could tell me he finished as quarterback 24 this year and be like, I don't think that's likely, but I could see
44.
it. Yes, he starts 3 games.
I mean, he's had shoulder issues, hamstring issues. Yeah. He's never played a full 17-game schedule. But I went into this like just, okay, if all these guys, everything pans out and they can stay healthy and they can do their job, like, how does this all shake out? And, like, once I get to, like, that 11 range, like, where you have Bo Nix, like, I can go a lot of different. Brock Purdy's in that mix there.
I assumed health for all of them, too. I did not assume performance for all of them. So that's why when I said I don't know that I can assume 17 games for him, it's because I think partway through the year, they're going to be like, well, this year's not going good. Let's see what we got with Quinn. And that's so I assumed health for everybody, but I didn't necessarily assume job security.
I was going to say, I think that the situation there in Miami specifically is such that
they're quarterbacks in 27 class.
I don't
exactly. Like they don't. I don't know that they're almost in the same boat as Cleveland, where it's like they're starting a guy that they're like, all right, let's see what the heck what we got here. And hopefully this goes south and we could just get our quarterback.
And best case is they get a superstar quarterback in the draft. But for both of those teams, another good situation would be if one of these quarterbacks wows everybody and you're like, holy cow, now these extra draft picks or high draft picks or whatever can go to other positions and other plays. Like, that's the dream.
Yeah, definitely for Miami, who could use Jeremiah Smith pretty badly, right? So if they don't need, if Malik Willis looks okay, they can use a guy like Jeremiah Smith. And, like, when we're in this range, it's no different than the quarterbacks, right? Like, I think a healthy Baker Mayfield, all 17 games playing for a contract next year, could have a solid year with Chris Godwin, Mecca Buka, Jalen, these guys if they're all healthy. So for me, like, anybody you say here at the bottom, like, I'm not gonna argue because like even Jalen Hurts, like I see, like I mentioned, we'll get down there in his stats, like, of his rushing first downs and trend of his rushing, like, I'll kind of come back and we'll see how the new offensive coordinator Sean Mannion out there, who wants to go back to a little bit more of the design QB runs, how it all plays out. But, like, Devontae Smith is a player that could easily get banged up, and losing A.J. Brown and the offensive line not quite as stellar as it was in those big time years, how that all plays out. Like, I can see him finish his QB 13, 14. He has a top 6 finish usually every single year. So, and go a lot of different ways, but we'll get into the details here.
Do your top 12 again. I need to hear it again.
Okay. Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Drake May, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, Jaxson Dart, Caleb Williams, Malik Willis, Jalen Hurts.
Okay, I think there's 2 players that are in my top 12 that are not in your top 12.
I figured Malik Willis was going to be an outlier, and that's the kind of guy I kind of want to go with. I always like to throw a guy who I think.
Oh wait, no, so that would be 3 actually.
All right, we'll get to your.
Right, no, let's get to him. Let's get through the rest of it. I'll say mine. I'll say mine. You say yours, and then we figure it all out. Right?
You show you mine. I'll show you yours. show you mine. Yours.
All right. So my top 12: Josh Allen at 1, Drake May 2, Lamar Jackson 3, Caleb Williams 4, Joe Burrow 5, Jaden Daniels 6, Trevor Lawrence 7, Patrick Mahomes 8, At 9, I have Brock Purdy, 10, Dak Prescott, 11, Bo Nix, and 12, Baker Mayfield.
Okay. I like the Baker one. He's a tough one to keep out because of like the year I think he's going to have playing for a contract.
So did you have Patrick Mahomes not making the top 12?
Correct.
Okay, that was one of the ones I was thinking of there that I thought you didn't say. So you have him. Is it more due to the recovering from the injury? Is it more the things around him? Like what keeps him out of the top 12?
For me, it just comes down to the skill position weapons he has around him to throw the football, right? Mm-hmm. Like, yes, Xavier Worthy's healthy this year. Yes, Rishi Rice going to stay healthy. They have, we're talking up Cyrus Allen at this point to try and get weapons. Travis Kelce is closer to 40 than he is 30. Mm-hmm. And you bring in a big time running back, Kenneth Walker, to establish a run.
Who's hurt?
Who's had an injury today? A team like the Kansas City Chiefs, like you don't have like they had. I think they had the most possessions like inside the 10-yard line or something like that. Like last year, I think they're going to run the ball a lot more, a lot of opportunity there. I just want to see. It's not even like Pat Mahomes, like with the weapons around him. I just see like again, if Pat Mahomes finishes in the top 10 or top whatever,
12,
that's not anywhere. Like Pat Mahomes finished 1 overall.
For the record, never finished outside of the top 12 except for his rookie year when he was not playing. Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me, right, in the least bit.
So but it shouldn't surprise anyone.
It comes down to like I think he's gonna. He had a lot rushing last year that he got hurt.
He did.
Obviously with the injury, like he's not gonna rush as much at least to start the year. You would imagine. You can see a trend here. I have a lot of rushing quarterbacks in my top 12. Like that really is the X factor for me. It's like a pass catcher running back that really like elevates your game. You got a guy like Jaxson Dart who averaged almost 40 rushing yards per game when he was healthy. Caleb Williams, it's running the Ben Johnson offense and around him. And now and you look at Justin Herbert ran a lot more. And the only runs I don't have that really rush are Dak Prescott and Joe Burrow. But they have the 2 best receiving corps in the NFL, and they're very accurate deep ball throwers.
And they throw the highest volume of passes too, which is a really big aspect of that.
So I think Brock Purdy and Pat Mahomes for me are personally similar fantasy football quarterbacks when it comes out to production for this year. Like I see Baker Mayfield outproducing them, Bo Nix outproducing them, but it wouldn't be a surprise. But
I have Patrick Mahomes and Brock Purdy on top of each other as well. So I just see them a higher up than you. Obviously.
It just comes down to when we talk about when it comes to dynasty value, bring them back to dynasty and overall performances. It doesn't matter. He only had 3 more points than him on a year, but that 1 more point per game could have been a difference between a win and a loss, right? There can only be 12 top 12 guys at each position. I know that sounds stupid at saying outside, but you know what I mean. There's only so room for a lot of good players.
Here comes a tie to say, I gotcha.
The quarterback room's healthy. It's a solid group of top 12 guys. And that's why I almost top 12 is fine to talk about, but the meat and the potatoes are in
top
Superflex.
6.
No, those are the championship caliber players. But league winners, when it comes to running backs, are who's running back 13 through 24?
Those are running back?
Yeah, those are and receivers. Those. That's where the meat and potatoes are for winning championships. We're going to sit here and debate and talk, not even debate, but kind of go over why and not. But we're almost just splitting hairs here, right? Because they're all good players and their points per game are going to be pretty close as well. But you're right. For quarterback, it's the top 6 guys that are going to make a real big difference here to really elevate your teams.
And that's what it typically is. Some years it's 4 guys that were actual difference makers. Mm-hmm. Some years it's 7. Somewhere, it can fluctuate a little bit, mm-hmm. but that point gap is huge. And going back to episode, was it last week or 2 weeks ago when I revealed kind of my projections, my quarterback 2s. Now my projections didn't necessarily follow up exactly with my rankings. They're very, very, very close, but there's a few nuances and a few differences, but my quarterback 2 and my quarterback 13 were a difference of not even a full 2 points. Yeah. So that's the thing for me is I don't know how valuable
2 points per game.
Right. Yeah. 2 points per game.
Sure
I don't know how valuable necessarily getting the top end guy really is in your redraft leagues this year. I still think it is kind of more of the traditional waiting on quarterbacks, the better route to go.
And do you here's a good conversation as well for quarterback. Okay. You play in a super flex league. standard league is 12 teams, right? For the most part. That gives you 24 quarterbacks. There's 32 quarterbacks in a team. Like, all right, who do you guys think aren't going to be in the top 24? Because if you have a guy that's 25, 26, like there, then you're almost starting a positional player over that quarterback at times.
The hard part is it's really, okay, what is it, 8 guys? What 8 quarterbacks got hurt and missed more than 3 games?
Yeah.
Those are usually the ones that aren't in. Just kind of unfortunate with how it works. But if you did it on a points per game basis,
that like who's not in there. And like
right.
Same thing, my biggest argument against a guy like Lamar Jackson, like he's just not there when you need him most, which is your fantasy football playoffs. He's either out of the game or he's banged up, and a banged up Lamar does absolutely nothing for you, close to single digit games. So like it's interesting. Again, we're talking about these guys and they're all nice. And then I do see a depth there, like all healthy. Like I could see the 20 point per game player going all the way down to my number 10, Caleb Williams, like because of the Russian upside and for some of these guys.
I agree with you there. There are a lot of guys that have that potential, and you look at, there were 6 of them last year that actually did it, right? And really 1, 2, 3 guys that were at 19, another couple that were 18, over 18 and a half. So there were a lot of guys that were close.
That were good quarterbacks last year.
Absolutely good quarterbacks.
You said you have Caleb at 10. I have him at 8. Matt, and you had him at 4, if I remember right. You had him pretty high.
I did have him at 4.
Yeah, so you're that, which is kind of surprising to me because I feel like and maybe I'm misremembering, so you can correct me. You've been a little cooler on the Iceman than we have. So for me to have him at 8, Rich at 10, and you to have him at 4 kind of surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, again, going back to the points per game basis, 19.1. So he was one of the guys that had cracked 19, and you look at last year, it wasn't that he started that hot, but he finished blazing hot. And I think in year 2, that kind of postseason run really helps young guys. And going into year 2 of that system, I think, kind of wheels up for him to take off and really have a great year 2. So obviously he brings the rushing upside as well. I think he had almost 400 yards last year. So there is an element of that as well.
What was his completion percentage?
It was not great. It was 58.9. So he has a lot of room, I think, to kind of improve as well over the course of the season.
Part of that was interesting with him. He was actually one of the highest quarterbacks that threw the ball away. Because if you look, he didn't turn the ball over a ton.
Yep.
So it wasn't, he does make
7
some
interceptions.
You look at some of his passing, you do at times go like, what was that? But for the most part, his decision making was pretty on point. But it was some of those, can we just improve a couple percentage points? Like if he gets into that 61, 62% range, that really does elevate things. And all of these guys in the second year of the offense getting a little more comfortable.
And I do think what we saw towards the end of the season, especially in the playoffs, was him being able to improvise and not look bad doing it. Like early on in his career, he was trying to improvise and things were falling apart on him.
Yeah.
And I think he's finally starting to feel comfortable, and we're starting to see a little bit of the Caleb Williams that we saw at USC, where it was like, okay, this stuff, the off script stuff is starting to work, but he's also, and what I was never sure of and why I was cooler on him, I was never sure if he was able to operate within an offense and do what the offense was designed to do. It looks like he's finally marrying those two things together.
Sure.
And that's how you become the Patrick Mahomes-esque type of guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Is marrying those two things together in the NFL.
Yeah, months ago, I mentioned Caleb Williams is easily one of those guys to elevate himself into that like new echelon of like Drake May, right? Like when it comes to dynasty value for youth, skill set, offense that he runs. And I do have him at 10 because like there's just guys ahead of him. Like obviously touchdowns are going to be a huge bonus for a guy like Caleb Williams running this offense and the weapons he has. So, I just read a report yesterday. DeAndre Swift is one of the I read that DeAndre Swift looked arguably like the best offensive player in the offense. Like this game. So he's had a really good camp. So you throw that to a game who's coming off a really good year. A player that jumped almost 4 points per game when it comes to fantasy football production from year 1, his rookie year, to Ben Johnson offense. He rushes the football. I think almost like 17% of his total offensive output from fantasy perspective came from rushing the football. To me, it just comes down to, his completion percentage instead operating that offense. And, same thing here. Like, even though you're, oh, wow, you have him a 5 at 10. If I had to, same thing, if I had to mix up a couple of these guys here from, Jaxson Dart, Caleb, Dak, because of the upside. Like I could see that. Like they're all pretty close to me. That's why I said Caleb is like the last guy I kind of see averaging at 20 points per game in that realm if he takes another step forward. So if I wanted to project and be like really in, like almost like treat him how I want to treat Trevor Lawrence, like I could see it. But it took Trevor Lawrence this long to get there because for the most part, it really does take quarterbacks a couple of years to really like establish themselves and become grounded, inside an offense to be able to execute that offense. We talk about all the time. Like I love quarterbacks that have been in the same offense, like a Brock Purdy for over 3 to 4 years where like it's just embedded in that offense.
They know
where everything's
the entire base offense.
Yes.
They know all the checks. And then they get to a point in year 3 or 4 where it's them and whoever's designing the offense coming up with specific plays that they want in that offense. You know what I mean? Like I love this element. Let's do this out of this formation, and they're like tweaking all that kind of stuff and really making it their own, basically.
Well, Rich, before I get into my top 12, and there's a couple other guys that I think there's some interesting debates, and I have a kind of a surprise guy in mind. You want to tell us about our friends over at my FFPC?
Yeah, dude, my FFPC right now, they got the big gorilla, the main event, the little gorilla. They have opportunities for you to go out there and win some serious cash. And maybe Trey Benson's playing in there because he needs some cash.
Come on, man.
As well. So they have it's a 3-season long tournament.
I didn't really like Trey Benson.
Yeah, and they need a running back right now too. So that tells you a lot. The baby gorilla is $125 with $100,000 the first. The big gorilla is $350 with $1 million grand prize. And then there's the main event, FFP's flagship with $1 million grand prize with $6.5 million in a prize pool. You got to check it out. You got to go to myffpc.com. It's honestly like when you look at the big dogs for tournaments, like this is it. When you see like, if you're like, hey, I want to beat the best of the best in fantasy football, this is where it is. They all play in the main event. But no, you get a little side hustle for that $100,000 in the baby gorilla. Payday.
No.
I play in the big gorilla.
Would you take
year.
it? Would you take it?
I want to win that $1 million.
I would settle for $100,000. Fine.
Yeah, I could live with that. So check them out, myffpc.com. You only got a couple more weeks here to the season start. It really is one of the biggest fantasy football tournaments out there when it comes to cash prize pool. And if you use the promo code NERDS, you get $25 off, which is a good deal. Definitely when you play in the baby gorilla, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Promo code NERDS, check them out. And right now, like you get it. Like I like to draft my team early.
Okay.
Like right after NFL drafts because I like to get the value of the rookies, but you take the chance of injuries and whatnot. Like now, like who the starters are,
right.
Who's hurt, who's banged up, how the offenses are looking.
Is the next play is it like the best time, like draft time, and then the second best time, like the day before the season starts?
You get multiple entries. A lot of people do that. They'll draft one right after the draft, then they'll draft one in the summer, and then they'll draft one right before the season
Changing
starts.
The exposure levels and where guys are ranked and stuff.
I mean, you got to imagine Casey Concepcion is way more expensive today than he was back
3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah. So check them out, myffpc.com, promo code NERDS.
All right. And don't forget about Hello, I'm Ugly. That's right. It is the fruit company that we've been talking about all month long. And guys, I have to be honest, like I genuinely, like there are certain things that you're like, well, we got to talk about certain things and we got to talk about certain products and it's part of what we do. And, then there's other things you're like, oh, I use this all the time. I will snack on these almost daily. I put them in my girl's lunch and I don't have to worry about like, oh, how much sugar is in this and how much, like, it's fruit. It's just dried fruit that I can put in their lunches. It's one ingredient. And I feel good about their mission too. Their mission is to upcycle this food that otherwise is just going to get thrown out. It's just going to be thrown to the side, not going to be used. And Rich, you were talking last week about the correlation between people that dry their fruit and people that own guns. Ben literally sent me a picture to show you of his grandma holding a shotgun.
Nice. Nah, down my mind. I told you, if you dry fruit on your roof, you own a gun that's longer than my arm.
Yep. Guaranteed. So head on over to your local Walmart today. Look for Hello, I'm Ugly fruit company. That's Hello, I'm Ugly at your local Walmart today. Yeah.
I don't dry fruit, so my gun's smaller.
Smaller guns.
It is smaller.
Yeah. So I love, dude. I can't get enough. The plums I can eat all. I
brought you a bag today.
Listen, I thought they were all gone in my house, and it turns out my wife put them away, and I uncovered them. I was like, yes,
surprise,
score. Yeah, so
that's awesome.
Big plums. Garrett brought you cherries, by the way.
Oh, nice. Excellent.
So
Can't
got you
wait.
the cherries.
Got you.
I can't get enough. Like I feel like it's candy.
Yeah. And like all of our sponsors, for real, all the sponsors we have, we genuinely like. We don't just talk about stuff just to talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. People ask to sponsor the show all the time. We tell them,
Yeah. No, it's not a good fit for us. But like, this is one of the ones where I was like, dang, I like genuinely use this all the time. So, all right, let's get into my top 12 here. So my surprise is I actually, even though I have a higher projected point total for Josh Allen, I ended up putting him at 2. Any guesses who I put at 1?
Joe Burrow. Did I get it?
It was Joe Burrow.
Yes.
I ended up putting Joe Burrow as my number 1 guy this year. And I think part of it is I am taking a calculated gamble. And granted, Josh Allen is 1 or 2 every single season. So I just put him at 2 this season.
Sure.
But
Shuffle it up. Shake it up a bit.
He's 1 or 2 every single season. He's a safe bet. He's a safer bet. But there's
safest bet of all time.
safest bet. Super safe. Super safe. But that being said, there are times you have to get a little riskier, play the odds a little bit. And the odd I'm placing this year is that the Cincinnati Bengals offense as a whole stays pretty healthy. Because I think that's the biggest thing holding them back. Is
Super Bowl contenders if they're healthy.
if they're healthy, they are Super Bowl contenders. And I don't think this defense has improved that much.
I mean, Dexter Lawrence is a dog.
He is. He's looking like a dog that might be past his prime. But
Dexter Lawrence?
we'll see.
No way. How
We'll
old is
see.
Dexter Lawrence? And I heard he's dominated camp.
Maybe.
Dominated.
We'll see.
How old is Dexter Lawrence?
But they also lost Trey Hendrickson
I'll
this
look it up.
offseason.
I'll look it
There were
up.
all those pictures
you
of like.
you look it up.
Did you see all those fake pictures of him on the toilet?
Who?
Dexter Lawrence. There were like these fake memes of
I
like
don't watch anybody on the
him as
toilet,
like
Garrett.
over. No, like him
Gross,
being like
Garrett.
overweight.
What are you looking at?
Sounds pretty shitty.
Like overweight. Never mind. There were memes about it. Anyway, that being
There were
said,
memes about
this isn't
Isn't
an offense.
Dexter Lawrence only like 26, 27 years old?
He is
I don't know.
28.
It's not.
He'll be
Young.
20. He'll be 29 in November.
That's not young, Rich.
His insurance just went down, Garrett.
That's not young. We're not-
He's an infant. Shotgun and
but
beers.
all that being said, I still don't think
His
this
mom was
defense
in
goes from one of the worst defenses in the NFL to like, oh, it's a top 5 defense.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
this is a
Cincinnati,
great
come on.
defense. Like this is still going to be an offensive led team. So I'm placing a calculated bet that this is once again going to be one of the highest
Listen,
attempts.
I
I think
totally
they're going to throw the
with
ball
you.
more than almost any other team. And I think if Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are relatively healthy, 15 plus games for both of them,
They have to be.
I don't see a scenario where Joe Burrow's not 22 plus points per game.
the only thing that gives me pause about Joe Burrow, obviously it's the same thing about its injury, but it's his offensive line is just not that great.
Sure.
Right? So when you combine a guy that's had a lot of injuries because his offensive line stinks and his offensive line still stinks, like that's
true.
only thing that gives me pause and worry.
One of the things that helps
I'm at 4.
for whatever
why I have
reason,
him at
Cincinnati doesn't
5.
usually play Cleveland super great. And Myles Garrett's gone.
He is.
So that's 2 games a year that he doesn't have to deal with that.
I don't think Myles Garrett's ever injured him though. Has he?
He sacked him
He
a bunch.
sacked him a bunch.
He sacked him a bunch of times. I know that for sure.
Couple
That
Roman soldiers laid out there.
yeah. And we thought for a second Max Crosby was going to be in the division,
Yep.
and now Max Crosby's not there. And like, and the Steelers defense is an aging unit. Like this isn't a a lot of their stars are getting up there in
They
years
lost their
now.
best pass rusher.
Yeah. So
Did
that-
they?
Baltimore. Yeah.
Steelers
Hendrick? No, Bengals.
I'll say they got Cam Hayward and TJ Watt. Browns got Mason Graham, Jared Verse, and
I'm sorry,
the Ravens got
I-
Trey Henderson.
yeah,
and who's their big nose tackle?
in Baltimore.
Anyways, he's pretty good too.
I'll check.
I wanted to say Vita Vea, but that's Tampa Bay.
That's Tampa Bay. That's an extension.
But all that being said, I don't think this is a defensive juggernaut division this year. I think there's going to be a lot of points available for this team. So I took a little risk.
For the record, Travis Jones is their nose tackle.
Mike
Not who I
Jones,
was thinking of. Never mind.
Haloti Nada.
They also
from
have Broderick
2009.
Washington as a defensive tackle. So
But so I have Joe Burrow 1, then I put Josh Allen at 2, Drake May at 3, Lamar Jackson at 4, Jaden Daniels at 5, Jaxson Dart at 6.
he was the one I left out, and it felt gross doing it. Jaxson Dart.
Yeah.
But he's a borderline guy for me.
All right, let's talk about him a
Yeah.
second because he is an interesting one. Brock Purdy at 7, Caleb Williams at 8, Jalen Hurts at 9, Patrick Mahomes at 10, Dak Prescott 11, Trevor Lawrence at 12. 12.
Nobody knocks Josh Allen as a quarterback 1 overall until he's hurt. And he just added DJ Moore. He looks great. This is a guy who's averaged over 15 points per game in 80% of his games over the last 3 years. Like, he's just...
Who we talking? Josh Allen?
Josh Allen. He's QB1. It's not even close for me.
That's fine. I told you I'm making a calculated bet.
I get it. But the only thing...
He's over 15 points a game, right?
Oh, no. I'm talking about in what was it? 80% of his games.
Oh,
over the last
80% of his games, he's scored 15 points or more.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So he was literally the only player I felt like layup.
Yeah.
This is easy.
I get you, but he's also been quarterback 2 quite a few times.
And he never misses games. He's always healthy.
Which he's due.
Why you got to jinx my man?
Yeah.
Well, you did. You
do.
This guy, we had a rookie draft, right?
This was ridiculous.
This is ridiculous. We have a rookie draft. First of all, it's a league where, like, we talk about all the time. It's the last draft of the year. The drafts are always wacky.
Really wacky.
Because, like, the players that go are, like, in no logical consensus.
Sure.
For example, this is a 1 QB league.
This is a 1 QB league. I owned 3 and 4.
Tell me the offer you offered.
I offered number 2, my 3rd and 4.
Yes.
He had 2 and 7. I offered 3 and 4.
Okay.
I wanted to get Carnell Tate for my team.
I text him, hey, I have this offer on the table.
He denied
Can't do it, bro.
Quickly denied it as soon as he's. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm not going to get Carnell Tate. I start
looking at
I start. I'm like, all right, Mekhi Lemon and Jeremiah Love goes. Jadarian Price goes too, and I just sit there and go, all right, I'm taking.
I just look at him. I'm like, this. And I said it out loud, which is I felt I didn't say it that loud, but like I always feel bad because like a lot of these people get like I talk shit about them sometimes because like privately me and Matt always like, dude, these guys are like sometimes they don't know what they're doing, and like you offer them trades under assumption they don't know what they're doing because they make other trades with people and you're like they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then I offer them a trade and you're like, oh, dude, your trades are terrible. I'm like, you're terrible. But anyways. I go to Matt. I'm like, this league's unbelievable.
It's just always unbelievable. Like I've grown accustomed to it. I love it. 4
it still surprises you.
4, yeah, every year it gets me every single year. I know it's coming. I don't know where the surprise is going to happen, and then I'm like, there it is.
Stribling went 6 overall.
Stribling went 6 overall. So you didn't even get him because I think you were after that.
Him, yes. Yep. So then it goes. Matt's at 2. Was it 2-2? 2-3.
I can't.
2-2, 2-3. And Matt's like, he's sitting there like, he's like, Ted Hurst, like I don't have those shares. He's like, I think I'm gonna do something very unconventional here. And I'm like, what are you gonna do? He's like, I think I'm gonna take Mike Washington.
I was like, he's been doing so well in the preseason.
I'm like, Matt, I agree. Like he's looked great. He's fantastic, but it literally is gonna take an Ashton Genty injury for him to be good.
To be relevant. I'm like
hours later.
I'm like, yes, that's exactly what it's going to take. And literally that day, the news
hours later,
he just texted me. I was like, dude, I was just reading this. I was about to text it to you. And yeah, I mean, luckily Genty's not.
It's
really
not a
injured.
season ending.
It's more of a low ankle injury.
And that just broke today.
The newest stuff.
And until I hear it firm doubts, I don't trust no band.
It is really funny because it did go from like torn ACL, he's down prayer circles, everything, to like, high ankle sprain, to like
4 to 8 weeks. Now it's like, it's a little bit
just a low ankle sprain, no big deal.
Anytime you see prayer, like the team broke down with a prayer,
you're assuming his leg fell off.
I was gonna say, I figured somebody saw his ankle and it was sideways. You know what I mean? Like something like that, because I heard it was ankle. I'm like, that thing's got to be snapped, man.
But yeah, so it was funny.
That is very, very funny. But it is a good, I know we're talking quarterbacks right now, but it is a good opportunity for Mike Washington, who's looked great in preseason. Yeah. And Clint Kubiak has traditionally used 2 backs. It's a good opportunity for Mike Washington to make everything annoying.
Yep.
Well, definitely, like imagine like Ashton Genty's not ready to go week 1, and Mike Washington has a great game.
I would assume Mike Washington's going to get the first couple of games, even if it's a low ankle sprain.
Yeah, why at this point rush him back? You're not expected to win anything big this year.
Yeah, that was Jeremiah Smith too.
I was going to say, you would love for your pick to be top 3 again. Try to get yourself one of these special receivers. Like
someone's like, how do you feel about Deshaun Watson being your quarterback? I was like, 2 things. 1, he won't be on my team next year. 100% he won't be on my team. 2, I want Arch Manning or Dante Moore. So like I want to lose as many games
good with
possible.
this.
That guy has looked terrible every time he steps on the field, stuff outside the Baltimore game 3 years ago. So, yeah, I feel pretty okay about it.
Yeah.
Like, only time I've ever wanted to lose. Even though the Browns are now asking me to pay for a PSL that is ridiculously priced, I don't know what I'm going to do.
The Deshaun Watson thing, there's no clean way out of this thing. Like
No,
that dude,
exactly.
that dude is going to start the first 2 games. He's going to go home. He is going to get booed out of that stadium. There's no way that he can start home games for any extended period. I don't care if he wins both those games, both the away games, 100 to nothing. He's still getting booed out of that stadium.
I agree. I think if he literally wins 2, if he's Tampa Bay and Jacksonville, he goes home. And I don't boo Browns players at the stadium. That's not my bag. I don't do that.
You don't have to. The rest of the
But a lot of other people do.
74,000 people are going to be.
I got a habitual guy who sits in my section, and before, like, he would just boo. I hate this guy, by the way. I didn't see him the whole year last year, so, like, I wonder if he got rid of his season tickets. But for, like, the last go, all he does is, like, boo Kevin. All you do is boo Kevin Stefanski and Chris. I'm just dude, shut the like, you have no idea what you're talking about. But Deshaun Watson's gonna get booed.
That's going to be brutal, man.
All right, let's go back to these quarterbacks here.
Small talk.
We were
Jackson,
just talking quarterbers.
Yeah,
we did eventually get to a quarterback.
Does Deshaun Watson make your top 24? Does he want to 8 out?
No, he didn't. He didn't make my top 24.
Mine either.
I don't even have him playing all 17.
I don't even have him playing more than 2.
Dude.
That is it. 2 games.
So Jaxson Dart, I think, we talked about high floor, high ceiling guys earlier when we were talking about Malik Willis.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's another one of these players here that has a very high ceiling. It's a boom bust play, I guess, is the better way to phrase it. With Jaxson Dart, right now, I have him projected at 3,800 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, 8 picks. But the big thing where he makes his money, 504 rushing yards, 7 rush TDs.
That's it? He had 487 last year, and he only played in 7 games.
Remember, you have to keep it conservative with these
He
projections.
played in a lot more than 7. But he
started. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought he started 9 though.
6, 7, 8, 9. It looks like maybe 10 or 11.
But that being said, I think that puts him at quarterback 6 for me overall in this process. And I think the big question mark for me is how quickly does he go from one offense to the new offense, and how clean is that? Because
that was why I left him out.
Okay,
So I got him at 9, and I'm concerned. And it's how do they push the ball downfield? He had almost like a 32% deep throw accuracy rate like last year. Like Malik Neighbors is a huge weapon, right? But outside of Malik Neighbors, then you have Isaiah Likely. So like, how does Jaxson Dart, who hasn't shown it yet, push the ball downfield? The new coaching staff.
Do they run the ball more than they did it previously? Little things like that was just enough for me to keep him out of the top 12. Even though I liked the player and wanted him to put, I wanted to put him in my top 12. I left him out for all those
and the
reasons.
reason the rushing yards are maybe a little lower than where you want them, Rich.
That's why I have him at 9 because of his rushing yards.
Yeah, and I mean 500 over 500 yards is not any. That's not bad.
100%. But I think he's closer like
700-800.
657.
Okay. The reason I bumped it down a little bit is hopefully they've ingrained in him like, hey, you can't be taking some of these hits that you're taking. He takes, runs out of bounds a few yards sooner. He slides a little bit quicker. He's
already experienced a tent trip and in the preseason, right? And been like, I don't know why I always end up in the tent. So I don't know that that's going to get better. Like he still doesn't.
It is rare to see guys. We always want it.
It takes a while.
We always want it to happen, and then those same guys were like, "Gosh, this year's the year where he's gonna," and then he doesn't. Like most of those guys, they just either are that guy or aren't.
Like I think
it is hard to coach that out of.
It comes with age because you're like,
right.
Josh Allen has done a better job of protecting himself over the years.
Josh Allen's superhuman now.
He is.
He's
Would
a
you
different
quit jinxing my boy, dude? I am trying to win a championship with that guy.
Isn't he also on the cover?
I also am trying to.
Isn't he also on the cover of Madden this year?
No, it's Caleb Williams.
Oh, it's Caleb. That's right.
All right.
That's right. I didn't get Madden. I haven't gotten in.
Let me
many
revise
years.
my top 5 for him. No.
One of the guys that we haven't really talked about, and Rich, it's your guy, Trevor Lawrence. Where did you put him, Matt?
T-Law was at 7 for me.
That's 7 for you. So I'm a little bit lower than you guys. You had him at 6, Rich, or 5?
I have him at 6. Yeah, I mean, it goes back to him, what he was doing like the second half of the year all the way through the playoffs, averaging almost 25 points per game, if not more in fantasy football. I mean, he played really good against the Buffalo defense as well during the playoffs there. So for me, when I look at him, second year in the offense, his rushing upside, all the weapons that he has, like I'm very bullish on this. Like this is I've been talking Trevor Lawrence now, I think, for 2 years, and it started off a little rough there at the beginning of last year. I remember we had that conversation.
Yeah. The second half of the year, just it
really elevated me, and like, and the thing too is like it was consistent, and it was a playoff team, so like it wasn't fluky. He continued on into the playoffs with good performances. This was a player, again, you go back, like he was considered, like people want to throw generational player, like he was like the QB to get, like over. Out of anybody, like over Caleb Williams, like Trevor Lawrence was the guy. The kid that never
He's
lost
probably been
in high
the biggest
school
name since Andrew Luck.
Yes, I think so. Right. Yeah, that's very fair. So to me, this is a player that just has all the tools to be a superstar who had a bad start to his career because of
false start
factors, of not in his own
Urban
control.
Meyer.
Yeah.
So to me, still like, and listen, man, and I know a lot of the Nerd Herd leagues are different because they listen to the show and they hear me talk about Trevor Lawrence. I'm in multiple leagues where I've tried to move all my Josh Allen shares for Trevor Lawrence plus. That's how much I believe in it, like long term. They've all been denied.
I mean,
because it is different when you have Trevor Lawrence. When you have Trevor, like it is sometimes like here's a good way to say it: Dak Prescott and Zay Flowers, right? Zay Flowers owners in Dynasty are way more appreciative of Zay Flowers than everybody else outside of like analysts that look at the real numbers, right? Like there's some players that just fall in line with, like they don't like hold value. And same thing, if you have Trevor Lawrence, you see what he did for you.
Sure.
Like, I'm not trading that way. Sorry, Matt, go ahead.
I was just going to mention, to your point, Rich, how hot he was at the end of the season. And you look week to week, quarterback 7, quarterback 5, quarterback 13 in week 14, and then it was QB1, 2, 5, and 3. So he was red.
That last quarter of the season
red
was
hot, dude.
When all his weapons were finally healthy.
Right. So it really clicked into place. I do expect a year or two leap as well in that Liam Cohen offense.
And we talk about T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. But, Brian Thomas, Jacoby Myers, and Parker Washington's a very nice
Another guy that
receiver.
got banged up today, Brian Thomas Jr.
Did he get banged up again today?
I swear every receiver,
fine.
It's expected to be good, but like every receiver, it seems like today was like, walked off with trainers. Oh, was limping. Oh, was like it felt
Chase,
like every.
Olave, Mike Evans still isn't practicing.
Brian Thomas
which
Jr.
is
And then we had
crazy on the
Kenneth
streets.
Walker
Substation, dude.
with his foot.
Dude, I would trade Mike Evans probably for like,
I'm nervous about
like
him.
anything he does. I think I have one Mike Evans share left. The moment he has a good week, I'm trying to like get a 28 second.
Yeah.
The last guy I want to throw out there, because I know you and I have him decently far apart. Where do you have Justin Herbert?
I don't even have him in this list.
Okay, I don't have him in the top 12 either. So
I'm at 7.
Rich, you're a little higher on him, and I understand why.
I know you're down on him.
I am. Yeah, I don't have him in my top 12. I think a lot of the McDaniels hype is the reason that he's getting pumped up. But for me, realistically, McDaniels, especially mixed with Harbaugh, to me spells more running than ever. That doesn't spell necessarily more passing. They haven't really done anything in the receiving game to add more weapons to make it more beneficial for him.
It's really just the tight ends they brought in, right?
It's really just Charlie Kohler, David Njoku. That's really
expecting second year leaps out of what's his name?
Trey Harris.
Yeah.
Hoping for that. I know Quentin Johnson's been banged up. I think he's back now though. But for me, I don't know that they're going to have enough volume. When I look at like my projections, almost all of the guys inside my top 12, with the exception of guys that I expect to run a lot, like Lamar and Jaden Daniels, are all above 550 attempts. And I have Justin Herbert at 510. So I think that's my biggest worry, is just, will there be enough volume for him to get in there?
Makes sense. Harbaugh ran one of the slowest offenses in the NFL last year, Mike McDaniels ran one of the fastest offenses in the NFL. So I would imagine this is going to be Mike McDaniels' offense with Harbaugh being a specialist, and that's why they brought him in here with the healthy offensive line, his rushing ability. I think Herbert's the kind of quarterback that elevates his weapons around him and not relies on his weapons around him and goes to his weapons. He kind of falls in that category for me, like a Josh Allen. And Justin Herbert really is, to me, kind of like, that's the build. Like, that's the kind of player he could be. He's a Josh Allen kind of guy with a big arm, big kid,
I
and he
think
can
he's
rush.
got tools. I think the thing missing from Herbert is
The production.
the finish or something. There's something that is missing from Justin
100%.
Herbert.
Garrett, we've had this conversation because you said you're like, this is a guy you're out on, and I'm like, this is a huge year. Like, this is Herbert's, and it doesn't mean like this is a huge year for him to or he's gonna be in the league a couple years. This is his year to establish himself as an elite fantasy football and NFL quarterback, right? There's no excuses. I know they just lost their center, which kind of sucks, but you have two of the best tackles in the game,
football,
in Slater and Alt out there. You have a great running back with some weapons out there, and you have very efficient enough receivers and a great offensive play caller, and you are in your prime as a quarterback here. And it's on you to go out there and execute, and I'm going to go ahead and put this where like I'm in on him following execution of the game plan and running it. And I do think they do run more plays to give him more opportunity. And I think, McDaniels can get some of that rushing upside too out of a guy like Justin Herbert. So he's a player I've always believed in. I've always thought the talent's really there.
Let me ask you this question. If we get another 10 to 14 finish for him, which is kind of where he's lived for the past 5 years, since he had that like number 2 or number 3 season in his second year. If we get another like 10 to 14 range, will you move him down then, you think?
Yeah,
or
100%.
No? So like this is the year for you.
And with the incoming class as well.
Yeah, that'll even move him.
Yeah, not only that, like help move him down. If Bo Nix Bo Nix finishes a quarterback 1 again this year, or he's on the borderline, Bo Nix can pass him up. Those are players. Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, Brock Purdy,
all Brock does is produce like top 6 numbers when he's in there. He's gross.
He's almost. He comes back to like, is anybody gonna be healthy for him to throw the football to? And how much do they rely on the guy we're gonna talk about next?
That's what got Brock Purdy from 6 to 9. Like, I don't even know who this dude's throwing to, and they're like all ancient. They're
Trust
all
a player,
or they're brand new puppies.
So
it's true.
It's why like I'm so in on Christian McCaffrey being like the number 1 overall fantasy football player in 2026.
The health scares the tar out of me. Like
for Christian,
he's just finally got back to practice.
Well, that was supposedly planned.
Yeah, he said it was planned. He said it was never even really hurt. So like,
we've heard similar things in the past, and then he misses.
But you know what? Like
forever with Achilles stuff and
going off and getting injections and over in Europe and all
so much. Like I'm over like, oh, this player got like everybody gets hurt. Like all the time, like people get hurt all the time.
They do.
Now there's some players that are lucky.
Like
Joe Burrow, like Josh Allen never hurt. Saquon Barkley almost like never hurt. I mean,
he had a couple years where he was
early in the year, but for like the last 4 years he's been
good for.
So like, but like for the most part, like everybody's getting hurt. Like and a lot of times it's just like crazy stuff that you can't even control, right? Like or like a Minka Fitzpatrick diving into your favorite player of all time's knee and do it. I mean, like there's so much out of our control. Like I'm just gonna look at like if this guy stays healthy, this is where I'm at. Like I'm chasing those ceilings. Like it's too
I'm
hard
fine
to
with
like
that.
worry about the injuries.
And I'm fine with that. Of like, hey, I'm not gonna play for the middle. If I get last place, I get last place. But I'm playing for first.
Like in redraft,
I have no problem with that.
Like I'm taking Bijan 1 or Jared because like it's so much safer like that. But like I'm taking Chris McCaffrey over Jamar Chase. Like I'm taking him 100%.
I have Chase over him, but I get it.
But but even then, I want to take McCaffrey number 1 overall because that's how much I believe in him. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, but
Gibbs and Bijan should both have monster seasons.
Well, let's not get into next show's show.
All right. Let's talk about it. So those are the quarterbacks. From a Dynasty perspective, outside of like Dak Prescott on this list, everybody still holds value. I think Lamar Jackson's on a downturn here. A lot of young guys.
Interesting that we had him 3, 3, and 4.
I have him at 4. Yep.
Yeah.
Because if he stays healthy, he's good.
Yeah.
He's elite when he's healthy.
Yep.
Obviously, Malik Willis doesn't really deserve anything. He needs a miracle to happen to become a dynasty stud. Odds of that happening with the weapons around him slim to none.
Slim to none.
Like slim to none.
It's early Chicago Bears Justin Fields is kind of what your best case scenario.
I feel much better about the fact that they're going to have a new quarterback next year than him turning out to be a quarterback.
You know what it is? It's going to be, and I already know how to, because everything plays out this way. Because again, I should put that video back up of what it's like being a Browns fan. And like, again, here we're just.
It's pinned to your Twitter, isn't it?
I took it down.
Okay.
A couple months ago. I had to pin,
Like,
I pinned something
baby,
else.
come back.
But and since I posted that 2 years ago, so much more has happened as it is. And what's going to happen? It's going to be like Archman and Dante Moore, like who's 1-1, who's 1-2. It's great, and it's going to be the Cardinals and the Jets up there fighting for like the 1-2 because Jets have Alabama, and then I'll just miss out and we'll draft a guy who ends up being
Turdberg.
Josh Rosen. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Remember
Oh, yeah.
I mean, barely.
Oh, yeah.
He was the thing for a year.
You know what's crazy about it? Like he was a 6th overall pick, right? He's in Arizona at the 6th overall pick for 1 year.
I think
right?
he was like 10 or something because he was pretty angry. He got passed up by so many people.
Okay, here, 10. Top 10 overall pick at quarterback.
Pretty angry.
He's there for 1 year. The Cardinals get the number 1 pick. They can't pass up on Kyler Murray.
Gone.
Dude, no Sam Darnold, no Baker Mayfield, no nothing. Like, gone.
Just use car salesman.
Just, oh, dude, top 10 money. He's not, the only thing he's selling is his feet up on a new coffee table he just bought. Getting those pedicures on those fancy toes. I hope he has fancy toes. Jealous.
You and your toes.
Jealous. Anyways, we'll be back tomorrow talking running backs.
Adios.
If you have a dynasty roster that you're trying to figure out what to do with, I have the perfect show for you. It's called Roster Rescue, and it's on our Dynasty Nerds YouTube page. We are live every single Wednesday from noon to about 2 o'clock talking about fantasy football teams that actually exist. And Rich and I break down what we do with these teams. Do we want to rebuild? What kind of trade should we make? Are we going all in? All of those types of things are on the table. And if you want to get your specific team on the show, all you have to do is go to dynastynerds.com, go under the Tools tab, and right under there, you're going to find the Roster Rescue button. It's under our premium services. You click that, and you can have your own roster discussed by Rich and I live on the air. Remember, that's live on the air every single Wednesday at noon.